Rise and Thrive podcast. This is your go-to business and financial podcast. We are still continuing on our journey on managing our finances as we try and build our businesses, right? So I think you must have watched the last episode where we hosted Cindy, and she shared with us a lot about how we can manage our investments. What are those investment options that we can go to? Because if you're rising in your businesses, surely you should be making money, and your money should be making money for you. But guess what? I thought about it and said, okay, how would I invest, or how are we expected to invest if our personal finances are not in order? Is your personal finance in order? Because I know for sure mine is very shaky. So I thought about it and said it would be a very good idea for us to talk about our personal finances. But before we even do, and before I introduce our guest, I hope you are liking, you are watching, as always, you are subscribing and sharing as widely as you can. So today I am excited. I'm always excited, right? Because the show is exciting, to introduce to you our guest. Most of you may know her, but for you that do not know her, I would like to introduce to you Pumla Nabachwa. You're welcome to the Rise and Thrive podcast.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Pumla is a team lead economist. Right? Is that the word? The actual in me is failing me. Team lead economist at Bank of Uganda. Isn't that exciting? That means she knows all about finances. And also personally, she's very, very passionate about personal finances and getting our financial health in order. And that's why I thought she'd be a very, very good guest for us today. We are looking forward, but I'll let her tell us more about herself, and then we take the discussion forward.
Thank you, Brenda.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you.
And I must say you're doing such a great job.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Pumla Nabachwa. I serve as an economist at Bank of Uganda.
Yeah.
I'm a certified financial literacy coach.
Oh.
I'm passionate about empowering people with tools to help them make better decisions for their lives all around. I'm specific to personal financial management. Yeah. But I realized that a lot of the decisions we make are also influenced by mind and by heart.
That's true.
So if you want to create a change in behavior in people, this other part that you want to change, you must first focus on what their mindset is, and then also look at their emotional struggles, and then how that impacts on the actions they want to or don't want to take.
That's very deep.
I'm passionate about personal financial management, and also go through a journey to help women especially to manage and navigate some of the challenges, complexities surrounding mind and heart. I'm a mother as well to a teenage son. That's so. But now that is my real job.
That's a real job.
Now that I'm a teenage boy, it's my real job. Other things sound big.
Trust me.
They are easy. When you have a teenage child of the other gender.
Of the other gender, especially. I'm in the same boat with you. I have a teenage son and a preteen son. So I understand the work.
I'm getting one.
You're getting one.
One goes, you get another one.
4 times. 4 times. Yeah. I really need it. Yeah, so it's good to know that you are passionate about finances. So when were you first exposed to money? Like, when did you first realize that money is a thing and we need to have good money and smart money? And what was the whole motivation around you making that or focusing on that really?
I think like all of us, we first saw our caregivers, our parents, navigate money. I think that's what was all our first experience with money.
Did you understand it though, or did you think it's like...
Not at all. I just understood in that time that I understood my money personality that young.
You did?
My father was a spender and my mother was a saver. And then I saw a split in the middle. We have 5 children. 2 of us were spenders. 3 of others were savers. So that's how I understood money.
No,
Nothing
interesting.
else. I knew that for me, when money comes,
you have to spend
I have to spend it. And yet I would say my other siblings, when they get money, they try to keep it.
They are saving and all of that.
They literally pay me. And because I like to spend, I like to make more.
Yes.
Because I like to spend, I like to make more. So literally, my sisters would come back from school, have all their pocket money spent up.
Oh, that would never be me.
Who comes back, I have no money, but I'm the one who wants to go to the
wants to go out.
I'm the one who wants to go out.
Yes.
Christian Union. After like holiday activities.
Yes.
Now they have to pay me. They have to pay me to do house chores for them.
Oh, you're those kids that got paid for house chores.
I got paid for everything.
Really?
For money, because I wanted to spend. So I understood my personality at that time.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize. So for me, in my mind, what I did was, if you want to have money, you must make money.
You must make money.
That's what I knew.
Yeah.
Full stop. But let me tell you, that's like 1%. I remember now when you ask, when did you start really understanding what
the concept?
The concept was when my dad, was a civil servant, retired. And yet still had primary school going children. And please note that my father, who was a spender, was also financially disciplined in the sense that he used to save, he had investments, and we were comfortable at home. But he had a budgeting system, which is why he did. I find that the budgeting arm is usually owned by the
women. Most times.
So his wife was a real budgeter, but she stuck to her budget. So even if he wants to spend,
he normally
finances and everything. But then I remember, because he had investments and he had savings, when he retired, his financial goal was to invest in a business that he did not realize was so risky. So when he invested in that business, he lost all his money.
Oh dear!
And immediately.
Yes.
It's not like it was for a while. He just poured it all because in his mind he was like, I'm going to generate the income. The income,
yes.
He lost everything.
Oh dear.
And that was the first time I come from a typical Chiganda household. I've never seen my mother's money. Never. I saw my mother's money that I was second year university.
Oh, really?
And the first born was third year. Was I in third year? No, I was in second year.
Yes.
Uni. My last born sister was in primary 7. In primary school. And that's the first time I saw my mother get
money. Yes.
So in my mind, what I realized in that moment is you can do all these things, but if you don't have a financial goal which is saving for unexpected events, you may not be doing much.
That's true.
So that to me now, the appeal came where, again, and people marry wisely. Because my mother was working. My mother was working. Blown employed at Macquarie University. She was a lecturer. And doing well. But me, I used to think she just used to go there to volunteer. Because I had never seen her money again.
And yet she was getting paid.
Paid. But you see, my mother, because she's a saver, this was important to marry your opposite personality. All the money, I was at that point, how old? 18, 19 years old, 20. All the time that my mother made money and didn't spend it, she saved.
She saved all of it.
So now
that's amazing. Yes.
To help us.
To help,
for a while until my father got back on his feet.
That's really amazing.
If you tell me when was the first time it became evident to me that yes, you get money, but money can't just go. You need to have a buffer here for long-term goals, which is what I learned from my father. And then for investments, risky, and then also savings. And then my mother's rule was save for a rainy day. You don't know what can happen. That was like my trigger. And then I moved on, and in that principle, in that light, I started saving. I never used to save at all. So that's when I started actually saving.
On campus, you were saving?
Yes. Now when they'll give me pocket money, remember, when you're used to a certain flow of income, and you know it's there, the all doors are open. Now with my mother's money, remember I was on spenders money.
I tell mothers, don't give money.
Now I'm on my mother's money, on savers' money.
It was a bit limited.
I had a job. By the way, because of my personality, I worked throughout
university.
All my holidays. I used to work. I worked in holidays. I worked in my S4 vacation. My S6 vacation.
I think I worked on campus.
So but money was coming
and going. It was for buying clothes and for going to Cheese Bar and all those places.
Downtown. Those the cheapest clothes of 500. 200.
Yes.
In fact, now I think they're 200 to go and dress
and go out. That was the plan.
And all those places.
Yes.
That's what I mean. But now when I saw this is when I started now to save. But I was not saving my pocket money. I was saving this extra money.
The extra, or
so
the one that you worked
money,
for.
Exactly. And getting my pocket money. But then, even then, I realized that I was still falling short. Let me let you in on what really made me passionate about personal finance, especially for women.
Yeah.
I was trying to, so I'm an advocate for healthy relationships. Let me say this first. I'm an advocate for
healthy relationships, yeah.
And I don't encourage divorce.
Yes.
But I was in a point in my life where I was trying to get out of a marriage.
Oh.
I got married very young.
Yes.
I had no savings. There were savings I had now. I had bought things for my baby.
For your baby,
like my little baby. But I felt like I was in a toxic environment and I could not leave.
Yes.
And I couldn't leave. Why? Because the place where I wanted to go was demanding me 6 months rent. I was 24 years old at that time. So I wanted a place that was safe for my child, secure for my child. They were charging me, I think at the time, 600,000 Uganda shilling.
Yeah.
This is 13 years ago.
13 years ago, that was a lot of money.
13 years ago.
That was a lot of money. Yeah.
600,000, 13 years ago.
It's like times two. Times three, yeah.
So I didn't have the money. So I realized that I stayed in a little longer than I should have.
Because
while I accumulated
that
some
money.
extra money. I had a down payment there of like 3 months. I had to go to my mother to borrow money to add to that. And then I even went to another aunt who also helped me and gave me some money. And I swore to them that I will pay back this money. And indeed I was able to. But it is at that point that I realized I need to. I'm now. It's just me.
Yes, it's just you and the baby.
Because remember, my father had his wife.
Who bailed him out. Yeah.
But you must always plan as an individual because I don't know. I was at that time relying on my husband. At that time, my husband was providing everything. Yeah. And then I started to wonder, where is your money? When it's time to exit, where is my money?
Where is the money?
And the money I had was really not enough. To do what I needed to do. So instead of eating my money, I started saving. So for me, that is the point where it was a wake-up call. It is now you and your child.
And your child,
Yes, you have a co-parent because my son's father is very present financially, especially. But anything could happen.
Anything,
you don't know. So for me, that's what started ringing supreme. That you have to take care of yourself. Like you should never ever remain in an unhealthy situation. Just because you're financially.
I totally hear you.
So when you ask that question, immediately that's what flips.
That's the passion, and you're like,
that's where my passion comes from.
Yes.
And you see, ever since then, I have started speaking about financial literacy, and I realize so many women, actually not even financial literacy, many women come to me because of the journey I have walked. And I literally can tell you, Brenda, a good 60% has no options.
That's true.
They have no money.
And you'd be surprised. It's the ones that you think have it together that actually don't have it together.
That is you're now answering. And I'll then tell you the ones you have to think when you come to them and say, how are you going to do it? Those ones are the ones who have savings.
Who have savings, yes.
Who have been saving slowly, and they come and tell you, I even have money for business. What business can I start? Then you think they're going to tell you, I have like 2 million. Someone will tell you I have 20 million. What can I do?
And then the average corporate or whatever lady,
income, upper income, yes, they are not. Are the ones who can't do anything.
That's true.
I think that's where it was a wake up call.
And it's a very good, and it points to, now I see where the passion for women especially comes in. Yes, because you draw it from your own situation. Okay, and so you've spoken about us having our personal finances in order, having a goal and things like that. What are those components that you think would be would provide for a healthy financial foundation? Like that, like as Brenda, or if you're talking to another lady, you're like, these are the things you need to have in order.
So finances goes whole extreme, but for me, budgeting is the most important piece. Budgeting is the most important piece, I feel, because it allows you to live within your means. For as long as you don't have a tool that is helping you understand where your income is coming from, how much it is, when it comes, how often it comes. And then you don't have another instrument that is showing you what you're spending.
What you're spending on, yeah.
An instrument that can determine what your needs are, that allows you to determine what your needs are and what your wants are. So for me, I find that budgeting is the most crucial component of financial management.
Yeah.
You must budget. Budgeting is my foundation. My other one, which I wanted to be my foundation, but my financial literacy training has refused. I have proposed amendments to the training. Second component of solid financial foundation is saving.
The saving part.
Saving. And not just saving. The saving for unexpected events. An emergency fund that acts as a financial cushion.
A cushion, yeah.
And nobody can. I used to have trouble teaching this part until COVID. I feel like COVID was a prayer, an answered prayer for people to see that shit can happen.
Shit can happen. And it can happen real fast.
And it can happen real fast and does not discriminate.
No, everyone. Yes.
That's where those jokes now started coming in. Would you rather rent or buy a home? People in COVID were in houses.
Those with cars.
Yeah, I would rather take a public transport
or buy a car.
People now people were moving.
Yes.
Asking, what is your car
doing for you?
It brought out so many realities that we were not really opening up to. So for me, saving for unexpected events is second. The third one, managing debt.
Managing debt. Yeah.
Managing debt, and that one is mostly how to leverage good debt and avoid bad debt.
Bad debt, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with debt. There is actually a thing called good debt.
So debt is good?
No.
You said good debt.
It's the context.
The context matters.
There's good debt.
And then there's bad debt.
There's good debt, which is for production, which is for ventures are going to bring in income. Are going to allow you to pay back the debt sustainably and healthily. That's good debt.
Yeah.
There are places you might not be able to go in this life without debt.
That's true.
So if you're in comfortable living,
especially business and things like that,
and you want to grow in your business, if you're comfortable and happy at a certain level of business, that's fine as well.
Yeah.
But if you want to grow to certain levels, sometimes you might need to extend yourself some credit. But it's also bad debt. And that same reason that you're borrowing for could also be bad debt because of the high interest rates. So you could have a good reason, but the interest rates are too high.
The terms,
and you're not really, because you're maybe in a position of desperation. I think it's good. But not necessarily. It's your idea that's good.
That's good.
But the terms and conditions that you're borrowing at for your idea are bad.
Totally.
So there's good debt and there's bad debt.
Yeah.
So debt management. Now, overall of those ones, I find is setting financial goals. Everybody existing in this world, every adult who is earning any income, be able to set financial goals. Short term, medium term, long term. What does this look like? A short term goal, I'll give you an example. My friends and I are turning 40 between this year and next year. I knew for a while there that people are going to want to do extravagant
things. Yes.
So I started saving 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
For the 40th?
For the 40th. For the 40th.
Okay, that is
it makes no sense to me when I'm with my friends and somebody says, I would like to go to Kalangala or Brevard.
And these days we have very lavish 40s. People are traveling.
People are saying, problem. People are saying, 40 is the new 20.
Is the new 20?
You can fall down. Because when I fall down, everything's paying more.
We are having lavish 40s.
I love the mindset, though.
I love it though. It's a good thing.
Because it keeps us young.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't throw us. And now with this rise of the Gen Z.
Yes, it gives you a new lease. Don't be going to.
Now for you, you're doing your thing. Let me also do
mine. Yes.
And it's like a new start to life.
Yes.
Because in your 40s, so many things have now make sense.
I've had that though. I have friends who turned 40. I have some older friends and they turned 40. I have a couple of friends who turned 40, including my sister, the other year and the year before. But the one thing they say is it's like clarity just happens just like that. You have clarity in your relationship, clarity with friends. I had it though. I actually did have it.
10 years
yes. So yeah, it's worth the celebration.
Yeah, so I feel like it's and it's a worthy celebration.
Yeah, it is.
So imagine, Brenda, we all know we were born between the years of 83 and 85.
And 80, yes.
We know we are turning 40. We know, you know the characteristics and personalities
of your friends. Yes, and they're like 10.
You know them and they're like 10. But now you know I have these core 4.
Yeah.
And for these ones, I must show up.
You must show up.
And by the way, you don't have to.
But
it is within your means.
Yes, if you plan, yeah.
Now we reach here, a friend of mine says, I want us to go to Fort Portal. We are contributing for the trip and everything, accommodation, full board, about 800,000. Someone comes and says, that's a lot I've not planned. I asked her, madam. She has been turning 40 since she was starting. She's been turning 40 for 10 years.
For 10 years. You didn't think about it, yes.
I find it so diabolical. For saying some of these things. So for me, that's a short-term goal.
Okay.
And me, because I knew I was turning 40, I knew I have to go on a cruise.
Oh, fancy.
And I've been planning for that one for 5 years.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's my medium-term goal. And I'm giving you clear examples.
Clear examples, and yes.
You can tune these examples to suit you. Maybe I should have started by saying this. Personal financial management is exactly what it is. It is personal.
It's personal.
I come here and I sit here and I tell you about how I'm managing my finances. Then I will give you an overview.
An overview, yeah.
But you must attune that overview to suit you.
To suit you, yes. Yeah.
To suit your belief system.
Yeah.
To suit your way of living. What makes you happy and comfortable. So much as I might say things here, my cruise could be what for you? I don't know. There are people who go for those the Israel,
the pilgrimages, religious pilgrimages. Yes,
the Muslims, the Christians. So that might be that for you. You might have always wanted to do it.
Yeah,
you may be saying, that's expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive.
It doesn't.
You can decide to do it. Start planning to dedicate 20 years.
20 years.
Now.
Yeah.
My long-term goal is my son is 15 years old. When I started saving for his university education when he was 7.
Oh, wow.
7 years old. That was a long-term goal.
Yeah.
And you know your children are going to university.
They have to, because they are growing every day.
So in my mind, it was so like literally just always decided to have short-term,
medium, and then long-term.
So that's one of the bigger parts. It's also top of the list, but again, my financial literacy training refuses to move it up.
To move it up, yeah.
Mine has always been set financial
goals. Yeah.
There's going to be a point in your life when you're not able to earn money as fast or as much.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you planning for that time of your life?
Yeah,
so
that's
that should
true.
Be a financial goal. You know you're 40 today. You know you're 30. You know you're 20. And for this retirement part, I like to preach it more to people who are 30.
Who are 30 years.
Because between 20 and 30,
you're not thinking.
Let's not pretend.
We all live young, wild, and free. Yeah.
Wild, young, free. Yes. Discovery, do you? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Save for emergencies. But you know there's a time that's going to come that you're going to retire. There's a time that's going to come that business you're doing, you're not going to be able to be hands-on.
Yeah.
So, your plans. Those should be financial goals. Those are the long-term goals. You know you want to build your own house, maybe in a village somewhere far. Are you saving for it, or you're waiting for the prices of the value of that property to go up?
Yes.
Then you say,
things are expensive. Let me take. That's now where bad debt comes in also, because now you're panicking.
Exactly. Yet if you had planned and you know what, I want to buy a house in this part of town.
Yeah.
At this standard. Then you put some money aside, buy a piece of land and leave it.
Yes.
I know we're going to talk about real estate it and leave it. And then when that time comes and you're like, this is not where I want to be anymore.
Yes.
And take time off and you're able to sell because that land would have appreciated. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you must have financial goals. Do you want to start a business? Do you want to grow your business?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? So you must literally have financial goals.
Financial goals
are just any goal you have in the world that requires
money. Yeah.
That's a financial goal.
And I like the examples that you've used, because for so long the financial motivation speakers out there make it seem like it's unhealthy to save for fun, like it's unhealthy to save for things that you like. You should be saving for land, for investments, and that makes saving so Like, it's so difficult. Yes, so technical. Yes. Because I was speaking Cindy the previous episode, and she kept saying, if you have to go on that trip you have to go for, but you have to save for it. So she gave, I don't know what formula you use. So if you get paid, for example, at the end of the month, how do you, or maybe not your personal, if you mind sharing, but if you don't mind, or what would be the advised rule of thumb in terms of saving or apportioning your salary, like the healthy way to maybe necessities, saving and things like that?
Budgeting?
Yes, from budgeting. Yes.
Budgeting, my rule of thumb with budgeting, again, before you even enter rule of thumb, you must identify what your needs are and what your wants are. We all learned of basic needs.
Basic needs are basic needs.
That's why we are not going beyond food,
shelter, medical and things. Yeah.
We're not going beyond them. But now you've got to remember that we live in a world where things like a smartphone is a basic need.
It is these days. A car.
The difference is the smartphone. The problem here is that I'm going to say a smartphone. Pumla said a smartphone. Bring in the smart
iPhone 16.
We're not talking that.
A car.
Transport. By the way, a car is not necessary. A car will say is a basic need. But nobody wants to buy a Vitz. But it is a basic need.
It's a basic need.
My rule of thumb is after you've identified what your needs and what your wants are, is grow. Me, the one I use that's working for me, and I feel it should help other people. Tailor to yourself. It's what we call a 50-30-20 rule.
50-30-20.
50, only 50% of your money, your income, your salary, whatever, all your earnings. Go to needs.
Your basic needs.
Your basic needs. And when I say basic needs, I mean food.
Not bandali.
Not bandali. That food which you buy in bandali is a want.
It's a want,
So when you're apportion the money that you need to go to the market. You might not use that money to go to the market because you spend more time ordering in. And this is something like I can tell. It's mostly bachelors, I think, who get food from out or whatever, which is all right, but it takes a lot from your budget. And that's why they marry you. Sometimes men marry you to make their lives cheaper.
So you cook for them.
So that you can cook for them. Don't mind for 50% to transport, to hair. Your hair is a basic need.
It is. For a lady, it is.
The question is where the hair from, what products are you using? There's a basic
There's a need there.
Get that basic need, and then the money that you're adding on top is
is the want.
That's the want. When you 50%, now you have 50%, it's off. 30% is to wants. So for me, mine, I have flipped the 30% from wants to saving, investment, and debt repayment. So the rule of thumb, ideally, the basic general financial rule of thumb is 30% should go to your wants. Then 20% should go to your savings
and investments and debt repayment.
When I was younger, that's the one I used to use, 30% to wants. Now that I've grown older,
you flipped it.
I flipped it. And I was able to flip it because I've been on this journey for a while, and now I can understand. And I know the value of compounding. For you to save more, let me tell you, even saving like a small 10 shillings. 10 shillings, yes. When you see 10 shillings grow, you get motivated to save more.
To save more,
Little begets little, a lot begets a lot. Because 10 and little steps count. When I started to see the value in savings and investment, I was like, what is this? It's so fulfilling to go and look at your money. And look at it like, what is this? What can I do? And it's growing. It's not money that's just there stagnant. It's growing. Then 20% is. So for most people, I would advise, if you're just starting out on the journey, saving even 10%. If you can start at 10%, you start. Start where you start.
But start.
And when you're starting, look at your budget in the face and say, you're a want. I love you and I want you. But instead of having you 5 times a month, let me have you twice. Talk to them, have a relationship with these things you spend money on, and explain to them. I see those TikTok videos. There's a TikTok video of a lady who opened the fridge, and there was a tequila bottle in the fridge talking to her. And she picked the water. And then the tequila bottle was asking her, you're leaving me? Are you cheating on me? You're taking water over me? And the girl was telling the bottle, but let's wait for the weekend. I can't afford every day. I have work,
yes.
I have to socialize with people. I have to interact with people on an everyday basis. I have to stay sober. So I can't. And the teacher was saying, what are you talking about? So you're choosing water anyway? It's a conversation
that you need to have.
I'm sorry, I'm done with you. See you on Friday.
On Friday, yes.
So these are conversations you need to have with these things that you feel have become habits, that you feel that you can't do without.
Yes.
So for me, the savings principle, and I want to share with you a savings technique. This savings technique, unfortunately or fortunately, is only great for people who earn a salary.
Oh, okay.
And there are places where, so now I'm speaking to corporates.
Corporates,
mostly,
And
corporates particularly whose employers give them salary advance. And I'm going to tell you how I do my 30%.
Okay.
I am allowed to take up to 40% of my annually, my annual salary.
In advance. Okay.
And pay back every month, I pay back 40%.
Oh, okay.
So usually if I get money in January, let's say I earn 1 million Uganda shillings. I'm allowed to take off 400,000 in January. And I must pay back 400,000 divided by 12.
By 12.
Must be paid back
every month.
Every month.
Yes.
So that by the time January starts again.
You fully paid and you can even take another.
Then you take another.
Yes.
So I do this on an annual basis. If your employer gives you something called salary advance, take it as a benefit. And take it. Never leave your employer with your money.
That's a tip.
Me, that is my biggest saving
tip.
And that speaks directly to the savings tip called save as soon as you earn.
As soon as you earn. Save as soon as you earn.
As soon as you earn.
Yeah.
It's the best financial tip I could give you.
Yeah.
Most of us, what we do, we first earn, then we spend, then we wait to see at the end of the month, what am I left with?
Yes.
And guess what? There's usually nothing.
There's nothing, yeah.
When you set your financial goals and you've put your idea of what you want to save, when that money comes to you, put it aside.
Put it aside immediately.
So for me, I don't save every month. I get all my savings.
Oh, yes, the
all
advance.
My savings, the advance.
And then you save it.
And I put it into a unit trust.
The
entire of it.
I see you. That's very smart. That's very smart.
That employer is giving you that money. It's not earning anything.
It's not.
And it's not yours. It's not your employer's. But now I've taken it. It is my money. My employer. And one of the things you've got to understand is that, I'm sure most of these people, your salary advance doesn't have interest.
Most times. No. I don't think there is any, because then that becomes a loan.
Yeah, that's a loan. Now, salary advance is usually interest, has no interest. Now you've got that money, you've put it in a unit trust, but guess what your employer is taking from you? The principal.
The principal, yeah.
By the time the year is over, you've earned interest, which is usually earning over inflation. It's always earning over inflation. Because it's going according. Most of those unit trusts invest in safe
investments.
What we call government securities, where government borrows from Ugandans. So the government borrows from Ugandans, and those are market prices. And government always pays back. That's why we call them safe investments. Now you have your money there, the one yes. By the end of the year,
it has earned interest.
And now guess what? You've paid back your employer,
but you earned interest.
Now all your money is yours, including interest.
That's so smart. I would never.
If your employer, I will say it again.
Oh my God.
Your employer gives you salary advance,
take it and save it. Don't go to Bandari.
Now, this is where the bigger problem
is.
We used to have people, and I'll tell you, I was also a victim. In the very beginning, that money drops into your account. It's great. What I used to try to do actually was to ask my employer to send that money directly to the unit trust, but they can't do it.
They can't,
commercial bank, at least for where I work. So they couldn't do it. So what I started to do was, in the beginning, fact, I remember the very first thing when that money first dropped. Actually, my commercial bank first flagged my account. They had
never seen that much money.
They told me, I have told them,
source of funds.
I am an employee of the central bank.
Yes.
How can you, what do you think?
Yeah.
We are the ones regulating. They said, but you're the ones who put the
regulation.
Anti-fraud.
Yeah.
Asking me why we are flagging your account.
Source of funds.
Saying what Bank of Uganda giving this money.
Yes.
What is it for? It is salary advances. Yeah. So they opened my account. I remember I went, withdrew some money, and I bought pizza. I was so happy.
Pizza. Of all things. I think I would buy a shoe. For me, that would be a shoe.
Pizza was easy. I was hungry. I had cooked at home, but the food we didn't eat.
Yeah.
I went, I bought pizza. Then I bought a shoe.
Yeah. Standard.
I had been keeping those screenshots.
Yes.
People's WhatsApp status. Those days there was no WhatsApp status. But you would see pictures.
Yes.
These are items I have. I said, please bring for me 2 pairs. Tomorrow, deliver between 10 a.m. and noon at Bank of Uganda. Wow. I was like, then I realized,
my money is going. Yes.
Oh my God. I stopped.
Then you start panicking. Yeah.
Okay. Got the money at once, put in a unit trust.
Yeah.
That happened the first year. The second year was more work. I decided, no, let me get this money. I put it aside. And I'll be honest with you, when that money comes, I also reward myself.
You have to, yeah.
I started rewarding myself because after I've paid back the money, and now it's time for me to borrow again, I put in a small percentage to
reward yourself. Yeah. You saved and you did great.
And I did great, and I achieved a financial goal. That's my financial goal. So in that saving, that money I put aside, I put it in I distribute it into my long-term goals,
your short-term and your mid-term. Yeah.
I put that aside.
That is so. I would never have thought. It's such a brilliant idea.
People, they're like,
I know, because no one would think about it.
Yeah, but it's usually done by people who have a hard time saving. If you have a hard time saving, you must.
And now
so that
smart.
Money, my banker knows, because I always, as soon as I finish paying back, my banker knows when my salary is coming.
Yeah.
And they know. So
they are not flagging your accounts anymore.
They are not flagging, but also automating that money to go directly
to the unit trust.
So they know. So what I do is that my salary for the year, for that month when it comes, is the one now I enjoy.
Yes.
Like, okay,
let me enjoy. Yeah.
This is great. I am. So I have a standing order, and that this one really, if you're able to automate your savings. Yeah. Automating meaning when your money lands anywhere,
it quickly gets out. Yeah.
Take it out of your reach so that you don't
save as soon as you earn.
Save as soon as you earn. Even these gigs that you have, if you can save as soon as you earn. And I say this for corporate mostly because we are assured of the income. Yeah. If you're a business person, guess what? Business people, entrepreneurs actually have the capacity to save more. Yeah. But because it's not consistent. It's not easy to save. But it means that business people can do that for themselves.
Yes, they
because even as a business person, guess what? You can have salary.
Some months are even better than others.
Some months are better than others.
So
I say this for salary earners because we mostly earn our salary in months. But when I'm talking to entrepreneurs and business people, your salary is in years. So understand your years, and in those years, understand the seasons in the year. All factors constant. Yeah. So know when can I save? And when can I save more? Yes. When am I okay to spend? So that next year you mirror what happened.
Yeah.
So even salary earners.
Can I tell you the thing that I struggle with? Yeah. You spoke about those gigs that you get. Yeah. No one rewards themselves on a successful gig more than me. I reward myself. Now I'm listening to you and I'm like, you need to stop it already.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I've saved on my salary, but then like that gig comes. Trust me, like 50% goes to rewarding.
Flip that rule.
Yeah.
And now 50% goes to wants.
Yeah.
A very important rule is people who earn money outside their regular money. That money is not reward money. That's income.
It's income. You should call it as income.
And not all of it is expected. But put it in the budget somewhere. If it has come today, it has come today. I have these Samsung sheets where I track. So I track my expenses on Samsung on my phone. I used to have an app, but
I tried an app as well. It was even me didn't work
now
much.
Every time I spend money,
you quickly go in.
I quickly write on my Samsung Notes.
Yes. On the Notes. Yes.
Now I have to open
to log in
then I have to create a new name for something maybe that I've never spent on before. But now I go in and I type everything that I spend.
Yes.
I put all my income. Now in that month, if I get like a nice gig that comes in and I get money on top of my salary, I put it up as income. Then after that, the month is done, I reconcile.
Yeah.
I now put in an Excel sheet. I have an Excel sheet for the year for 2024. I have a full Excel sheet. Then I go and put, now we are in October. This is what I spent. This was my income.
Yeah.
And I know, I'm aware that this is the 50%, this is the 30%. But in all the money that comes, immediately that gig money comes, 30%
should go to savings.
Nothing else.
Now I have learned.
Actually, for the gig, it's not 30%. For the gig, I put also expense money. It became 70%.
Oh.
It's a salary.
Oh, yeah.
You are okay on your salary.
Yes, actually, okay.
And this is a rule that should even happen for people who, especially for those whose salary is shorter than the month.
Yeah.
If you're earning a salary and it is not enough for your basic needs, guess how the percentage, according to I think the last financial survey results, was 70% of Ugandans. 70% of Ugandans, their budget are living on a personal deficit.
Yeah.
Personal deficit meaning that the money that they're earning
is not enough to sustain
their expenses. And this is not about wants or anything. They're expenses. Basic needs. So if you get an extra gig, you come down and say, okay, what do I need to supplement my expenses?
Yeah.
My needs. Put that in. Once you put that in, then save.
Then you save.
Then reward yourself 20%, because 20% is the one that, for me, in my view, is for once.
It's for once, yeah.
Or if you move it to 30%, if you feel that that is what is taken.
Yes.
But in all this, save something.
Save something.
For you decided, Pumla, what those numbers you're talking about is too much. 5%.
But 10, I think 10 is fair.
For me, mine is always 10%.
10 is
sometimes fair. I feel, sometimes I speak from a point of privilege.
And I think 10 is fair,
But let me tell you guys, the people who with the best saving culture are the ones who earn the least.
You know, we had this discussion after the last episode came out. I was talking to a group of people, and one of them said, no, I think she was speaking from a place of privilege. And I told her, no, actually the people who save, you know those market vendors, they are debt-free meanwhile. Yes, the only debt they have is in the market circle. Yes. Their children go to university private. Yes. They build in Kampala, build for their parents in the village, but they are selling stuff in the market. I'm not buying, and I'm even borrowing money to buy from them. It happens.
You know, those people downtown, when there's a point when we never used to allow, it wasn't not allowed, but we didn't have commercial banks opening over the weekend.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Those same people who insisted that we must open on Saturday and Sunday.
Because they have money to bank.
Yes. Because they want to bank.
They have money.
The typical person who works in those big buildings in the corporate sector, CBD, would be doing for them, or money, they'll take it home on Friday.
Yes.
Would it be there on Monday?
No, it wouldn't.
These people, women and men are like traders, realize that this money must be doing something.
Yes.
But if you close the commercial institutions, this is where we push our money for other things. We need to do other things for us. And we don't want access to it. But us here, we are begging for access to our money to spend. We want ATM open. Why are the ATMs not working?
Why are they working?
We want money to be kept in.
There are no ATMs in Chira. That's always my complaint.
There are no ATMs in Chira. Middle income want to withdraw. We want access to our money.
Yes.
The people downtown, the poorest people, the ones who earn much less than other people, want a place to keep their money so that they don't have access to it. So I feel like that's the culture. You asked me about the savings. I want to talk about a little bit about investment. Okay. The bigger part about investments for me is that I find you can do any investment you want. Any. It's up to you. Yeah. But there's a diversification of investments. Yeah. And this is another lesson that I have learned in this. Yeah. That as Ugandans, maybe we tend to limit to, we want to do farming, we want to do business, and that's great. but we like to go for risky businesses because that's what we see. We feel yields
higher returns. Yeah.
And that's great. But we should be able to diversify our portfolio and say, but the one thing I've realized is, especially the other gender, they don't like to look at their money. They want that money to be doing something for them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm on a WhatsApp group with a guy who told me, you guys, I've survived the weekend. I ate my children's school fees. And he didn't eat it. There was a deal.
There's a deal. Okay. Oh yeah, he gambled.
However good that deal
No, I can't. Yeah.
Can you use your children's school fees?
Never.
To go for that deal.
You can't.
Because we are wired different.
Yes.
This man, a deal came to him. They were supposed to be paying school fees in a week's time. The deal was, you bring in, the money was supposed to double, triple actually. And he had done this deal before.
And it worked.
So he was like, these are even the same people. Have my money. It's okay.
How do you go home to explain to the
So
madam?
now he told us a week in advance, you guys, please give me some tricks. And you see, you could really see the difference in gender conversations.
Yes, yeah.
The women on the group were so confused.
Like, who does that?
Who is there? But the men, all the men were on the other side of
yeah.
Even if a deal came even of 1.5%, as long as it's making me some more money, I'm putting it. Even if they tell me it is for my mother who is sick and made money for medicine, I'm putting it as long as they tell me that money is going to grow.
Men take risks.
Understand that as men and women, we are made different. We are wired different. And that's
very
okay.
Different,
and that's why we're on this earth together. That's why we complement each other. Because it's not to say that one person's thinking is better. The fact that Brenda cannot eat her child's school fees does not make her a better person.
No, it doesn't.
But the fact that this man wants to make more money with money doesn't make him a better person. It just means that you can more risk averse as a man, and for you are better.
You're better, yes.
Taking yields returns.
It does.
But you must be able, when you're younger, in your younger years, and you're just starting out, when it comes to investment, diversify, but concentrate on things that you understand. Just because Michael opened up a poultry farm somewhere doesn't mean you also go for the same poultry business. You don't know what Michael went through. And remember, people don't tell you.
They never tell you that's the real story.
Don't tell you the real stories.
Especially Ugandans.
Especially Uganda. That head beer I started with one
egg.
With one egg. Never let anyone lie to you. Those people, many people have some other backing.
Yes.
And if they don't have backing, they're not going to explain to you the struggles.
They won't tell you how many times they've fallen.
They are not.
They will never.
They may tell you one or two.
Yeah.
You think you're going to say, and then actually someone may even tell you the full story. But they are not explaining to you that sometimes they are earning from their business because of their personality.
Because their personality.
Who they are.
Yes.
There are people, by the way, and who learn. And let no one ever lie to you. There is a factor of opportunity. People like to call it blessing, of luck.
It is true.
Story.
It's there.
Some people sometimes are in the right place at the right time. The right people.
Yes.
The right actions.
Yeah.
But even them, they may not be aware of that luck. Then they come and tell you, for me, things
they happened and you collapse.
See what is going to happen. So for me, that's on those foundations of saving, saving, investments.
I
would, budget. 50, 30, 20 principle. 50% of your it goes to your
necessities.
30% goes to your wants. 20% goes to savings. Paying back debt and investment. And it's okay to flip the 30
or the 20.
So save as soon as you earn.
Even the gig money.
Especially the gig money, because those are blessings.
Those are blessings. Yes, that's true.
Investment, diversify your portfolio and start small. And invest in people who know what they're doing. There are so many people in investment business. Ugandans just don't want to pay for advice.
That's the thing. People don't
want
to pay for
advice from their bank.
And the podcast.
But now you see the podcast is okay if you have at least someone literally licensed, an expert to tell you. As you want to sit here and talk as friends, then you say, the other one,
let me take this tip.
Then you take that advice. So engage experts, and it's okay to pay a little bit. But if you don't have a friend in your circle who is an expert in finances, maybe look through your circle.
Look through your circles.
My friends free finance. And they don't pay me for it. I give it to them. I'm here on this podcast, and I'm giving it to you.
For free.
There must be someone in your circle who at least knows something about
savings,
investment, savings, budgeting. Who can help you? So invest in experts.
So I know we've covered it here and there. We've talked about certain mistakes that we make as we try and build a healthy financial foundation. So without, belaboring the point, because there are certain things that we've covered, what are some of those key mistakes that you think we can guard against?
I said earlier, Ugandans are great Ugandans are very good at making money.
That's true. We have the highest level of
entrepreneurship. We are very good at making money, but they are more excellent at spending. Actually, I feel that Ugandans are more excellent at making. So they think that they can spend. Everything in between, which is personal financial management, is where we get the break, where the breakdown comes in.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones I see, because I see Ugandans making budgets, but they don't track their expenses.
No, we don't.
Most Africans, actually, I think this podcast is not just for Ugandans.
I feel like I feel attacked.
So let's talk to everybody.
Yeah.
But I can only talk from
what you've seen.
I've seen and experienced. We don't track our expenses.
No, I really don't.
So when we don't track our expenses, we overspend on wants and don't even realize that we're doing it. We don't realize that many of the wants we're spending on, we want them, but we don't really want them. So there are needs and then there are wants that you need. So there is wants that you need. That for me to be happy, I must have this car.
I should buy this shoe.
Something. And then there's something else that is like, okay, that looks nice. Maybe it will make me happy, but maybe it won't.
Maybe it won't,
let me try. And then you buy it. Because you think you can afford it. But that's really because you're not tracking your expenses. Failure to track expenses is what puts us in a trap of living beyond our means.
Yeah.
That's really what happens.
So that Excel sheet is important.
That Excel sheet is important. You must know what you're spending every single month or every week or every day or every year, depending on what you choose.
Yeah.
That's the overall one. I want to narrow down to the specific of Africans. One of the biggest mistakes we make is put aside large contributions to life and death events. Weddings, baby shower, gender reveal.
That's the latest.
Those are life events. Guess what? You don't have to.
Yeah, that's true.
Mabogo, those are not obligations. You're not obligated. You're not obligated to give your friend 500,000 because she's getting married. You're not. Look at your budget and find out what you can afford. Some of you are just afraid because they will say that you're
yes.
That one, how come she gave only
500,000? There's that thing of Pumla gave me 500K.
Yeah, this one
I'll give her I have to give her that on more.
You don't have
to.
You don't have to. And this is a tip now I'm going to give to people who can't afford certain things.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Again, I'm not afraid of my privilege.
Yeah.
Money pays for convenience.
It does.
I pay that money because I don't want to be going downtown helping my friend do shopping. When you don't have money, when you're poor, you must use your hands.
Yeah.
You must use your legs. You must use your mind. Your mind. You must move. When you are the one who has now called your girlfriend and said, because friendship is important. And let's be honest, if you're not going to contribute to your friend's functions, you might not stay friends because we must express ourselves there. We have
especially for us girls.
Especially for us girls. I think even men as well. So you must be able to do something.
Yeah.
If you cannot pay for a baby shower, and when I say you cannot, be honest with yourself and know you're not able to afford it, you're looking for ways to get 200K. Be the one to call your friend and say, Alice, where is the decorator? Where can I find her? What time can I make sure? Can I take her for a site visit? Can we go together? You must do work.
So you contribute in everything else.
Yes.
Yeah. I hear you.
Service.
Service, yeah.
You must contribute in service. So I have a friend who does that and she does it excellently. And you don't even realize. And actually when they are speaking out when the bride is giving her speech or the birthday girl, they speak about her the most. Not you who gave 2 million shillings. Remember, you gave 2 million shillings with people who gave 10.
Who gave 10,
gave 5. You give 500,000, nobody knows. People will just register in their head that you contributed. But when you don't have money, you must be prepared to
work. Yes, the one who cuts the cake, the one who serves the high table.
So I earn my money.
Yes, and you pay
for the convenience of not using my hands.
Using your hands
but if I ever found myself in a situation where I was not able to accord my friend the financial contribution that I I would have to do that
in service.
In service.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
You can't just sit back and say that, oh, now me I can't afford. Let me go for the kuchala because it's in Hoima. You work around the things that are
the things that
Even death, Mabugo, you can only give what you can.
What you can, yeah.
We talk about black tax.
Black tax. Hey, black tax is.
Black tax?
We have to.
I hope you are ready for this conversation.
I don't think many people are ready for that conversation. There's a clip that went around. Did you see it? There's a Kenyan. I don't know if she's an influencer, but she lives abroad. And she's very cantankerous in her ways anyway. But then there's a clip that went around about her speaking about black tax. And she's like, I'm not sending you people my money. I think someone had called her and threatened her. They knew her father, her mother. And she's like, I'm not sending you the money. So there's a fight on Twitter, on X, about it. But I kind of saw her point.
And you see, the reason why we have to be culturally sensitive when we're speaking about this.
Yes.
So I must say that I understand that it is institutionalized in us to try to uplift. Because as we have now, we are people of opportunity. Now that what we have, the money we've made, the extra money that should have been elevating us
to the next level.
We always take it off and give it
and
down.
Try and uplift the next level,
But let me tell you what black tax really does. Black tax just gives Africans more permission to have children they cannot afford.
That's very true. Because you'll find someone who can't afford.
Only gives Africans permission to have children they
can't afford. Yeah.
I spoke about budgeting, but I forgot to speak about planning.
Planning.
When you're planning, and that's one of the biggest mistakes also Africans and Ugandans make, they have children before they know how those children are going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And we must admit it, there's a part of our Africanicity that is rural. We still have low literacy levels.
Yeah.
And I can permit that people who have no exposure, who have little to no education, because they don't know any better.
Yes.
But how is you, whose parents and caregivers have taken you through school, still making the same
mistake,
and then expecting me because of Ubuntu, you're pushing Ubuntu and disguising Ubuntu, and disguising enabling to Ubuntu and an Africanicity. Me who decided that I'd have 1 or 2 children, or even no children at all, you think that me now I have extra money.
All that balance or whatever should go to you, yes.
I must also agree that some of us were raised by the help of others.
So you feel,
So you feel obligated. So I'm not talking about the ones you're helping. I'm not talking about you.
Yes.
You're helping those people because you think you can afford to help them. And you're doing that because you have not set aside money
for saving.
You haven't. The money you can accord, my budget, I'll even tell it to you, point out blank, is 600,000 every month.
For Ubuntu.
And Ubuntu includes contributions.
Contributions, everything else.
Everything. The thing, I have a portion of my savings where I know my people who are personal to me, and I know if I know that it's a wedding, weddings don't just come up abruptly. The one thing that comes up abruptly is death. I can choose how much I contribute. But if I have something I know I'm expecting, I have a little window where I can increase. But generally, I have a 600,000 there waiting. If you remove that 600,000 and someone else comes, I look at you and say, for you, your feet, you come and ask me for 200,000. I say, your feet 50. And I give you 50. Even if I have that 1,000. It's not your money.
It's not your money, and I should not plan for it.
You shouldn't. If you have an uncle, if you have a relative who put you through school, the ones who you're putting through, I want to explain to you. Don't have expectations that the people you help are going to help you.
No chance.
Don't expect.
Actually, 80% of the time.
Because you don't have a retirement plan, and you know the reason that you're expecting those people to help you is because you're using the money that you should have used for saving to help them. You first get your savings
and save,
then find other avenues of income to help them. That you must always have a saving. Prioritize your saving, then help other people. It's as
let me tell you, those guys, most times, right, they will not help you. And the thing though is most times when we help people, I don't know if it's a natural thing, we help them with anticipation that I've helped Pumla. I've today 3 years down the road, when I call her, she should drop everything and help me.
That's what.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's natural. I think it's taught.
It's taught.
I think it's taught because of what we are going through. It's a black tax problem. It's an African tax problem that I helped you, and we hold people at ransom. And let me tell you, I'm not talking about the people doing the black tax. Right now, there's nothing we can do because the people you're helping have no education.
Yes.
But now you, who is helping those people, don't expect their children to help you. Because what you're doing is that you're not allowing them to live their lives fully. It means in their budget, they're always going to have money set aside for you. And that money set aside for you is usually equivalent to saving and investment.
So you're literally never save.
And then when it's time for retirement, or time when you cannot earn anymore, you start depending on people. Children are not a financial plan. Neither are men.
Neither what?
Neither are men.
Okay.
But then, sometimes I say, but you also give money.
Of course they have to, right? Yeah.
But for everything a man gives me, I can give myself.
Yeah. Yes.
Financial plan. I appreciate
it's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah. Look at it as a bonus.
You shouldn't depend, and that's an African problem. We depend on other people. We have an over-dependence on other people. Again, going back to now we speak data.
We have
a 20% of Ugandans that rely entirely on their children.
Yeah.
Children and family and friends. When things go south. For them, in their minds, that's their way.
They are waiting.
Somebody came and asked, the way they asked you on census, how many children are you? Do you have a team?
I wasn't
Do you
counted.
have a mosquito net? Yeah, I was counted.
I wasn't.
Me and my household.
I wasn't.
Imagine this way they come and ask
sad.
them, when you have no money, what do you do? And then they answered, I got to rely on my family.
I got to my friends. I got to my brother.
Without shame. As in, for them, that's how they answer.
Yes.
These are educated people.
And you see, that problem comes if you don't do your planning now, like us. If we don't do that now, in future we are going to be those people. Like I'll be calling, and the children we are giving birth to, by the way, they will not look after us. They are so random.
We are the last children of our days.
Yes, we are the last.
The children coming after.
Globetrotters, what? They have no attachment. Yeah, they are running.
They're going to go away and start their own family.
Yeah.
And their Bazungu wives are going to tell them, how are you sending money?
Because
yes. They've been taught differently,
exactly.
You'll never see your son again, you'll see. In your house.
Without savings.
That's why for me, I always preach, save. You think you can afford things because you have money seated there. Because you're not saving the money.
Yes.
When people come to me and ask me for money, I tell you, I have apps here where I look at my money
and you see where yes.
But when you come and ask me for 100,000, I don't have it.
You don't have
my
it.
Budget is done.
It's done, and
you have budget for you.
And you're living on a plan. Exactly.
It's for me.
You know, you spoke about people expecting things of you.
Yeah.
I have an in-law who has 2 kids. But he once got called out because someone asked for help, and he's like, no, I can't. Yeah. And the person is like, but you only have 2 kids. What do you do with your money? But he's thinking, my kids are international school. I'm building. I have plans. What do you mean I only have 2 kids? What do I do with my money? So there's that black tax entitlement that we need to really fix.
We need to stop being entitled. And for you, you feel obligated to.
Yes.
Do it within reason. Do it with boundaries. Do it with boundaries. And don't be afraid. Be okay by creating a boundary, no.
Yeah.
Without an explanation. No is an answer.
It's an answer.
You don't have to explain yourself and say, now for me, you just say, no, I don't budget for that.
For it,
Maybe try again next month. And people who bring money, they say, the problem is in 2 minutes.
Is in 2 minutes.
So I say, you come back next month.
Come back next month. That's when I'll have the money. Yeah. No, that black tax is a real issue. Yeah. So something comes to mind. As you know, this is a business and finance podcast. My actually ancestors today are not letting me be in terms of pronunciation. Finance was playing me. Okay. But so there's this whole thing, like for people who I am a salary earner myself. But there's this pressure, there's a point in my life where, I don't know if you watched my previous episodes, I had to go through, lose money, doing lots of businesses. But do you know why I did that? I realized I was under pressure because society kind of makes it seem like you can never be wealthy or get rich off a basic salary. Like you have to do something. That's why everyone has a side hustle. People are side farming, corporate farming. You're in the office here, but you're farming in I don't know, in Kitgum. You don't know what's happening. But there's that pressure of I have to have an extra income. But listening to you, I feel it can actually be different. Am I right?
You're right, but again, that depends on your personal goals.
On your personal goals, yeah.
On your personal goals, it depends on you. Okay, let's first look at wealth. People like that word wealth, but what does it mean? Wealth ideally just means that you're able, so there's financial independence, there's financial freedom, and then there's wealth, and that wealth that is accumulatory, that's generational. Financial independence is just that you're able to stand to your needs, your expenses fully without independence, without help from anybody.
Anyone else. Yeah.
Financial freedom is the ability to not have a fear in the world that anything can go wrong, because you're managing your finances, you're financially independent, but on top of being financially independent, you have money that's working for you, that is doing work for you, and it keeps pouring in.
Yes.
Wealth and financial freedom are tied, because it just allows you the luxury to live on your own terms.
Yeah.
You can do what you want, with reason, of course, but you can do what you want. Salary and income create stability. That's what it can accord you, stability. But for you to create wealth and financial freedom, you might need multiple sources of income. You might need multiple sources of income. But what I can say is that it is not for everybody. It is not for everybody. I just talked about black tax. And this is entirely reliant on your financial goals. If you have financial goals that says, for me, I must give my parents or my uncle or my nieces or my children pay for their school fees because of black tax, or I must give them money for hospital because of black tax, or I must, if you've done your budget and you've seen that these are things I must do, so this is who I am, you must get income. You must. So it depends on who you are. What are your needs?
What are your goals?
Salary, according you, the life of comfort that you want. For example, if I'm here as a salaried earner, I'm a salaried earner like you, and right now as I am, I'm financially independent. I'm not financially free, but I'm independent. I'm fine. My financial goal has always been to build wealth, not to be wealthy. I would like to have a starting ground for my child. Right? But I'm not going to slave myself for it. I'm not. So for me as a salaried earner, what I do is I monetize my passion, because I don't really have the time to take care of a business. There are people whose businesses can afford them some time to start poultry. Let's say. And in the beginning, it's hard, it's difficult, and that's why people usually sever ties with those businesses within the first 2-3 years. So it's initially really hard, but as you gain ground, you start to understand the dynamics, you start to understand more the business, you gain more expertise, more insights, and then you're able to do them alongside each other. So if you can do that and it starts working for you, that's great, because that's another revenue stream. So that's great. And then you can also have a border on the side. That's great. If everything is working in tandem as it should, then you'll have another person who is not able, or who doesn't want, guys. It's also okay not to want.
It's okay,
It's okay not to want to be wealthy.
Society can't let you be.
But you can do it. All you need to do is maximize the potential of your salary. Because some people honestly just can't. So maximize the potential of your salary. All you have to understand that is the person who is earning a salary and is not doing any other side hustle needs the points I said before. They must be so disciplined, because now this becomes about timing. People look at wealth as we need to do it now. They want to see their money growing now. For you as a salaried earner, your journey, your path is different. You might be able to just save and have safe investments and accumulate enough so that in the next 15 years is when maybe you can now invest bigger and enter riskier businesses and have those so-called gigs and side hustles. So for me, it's not wealth. Honestly, you need more income streams. And yes, if you do those side hustles, you'll accelerate. Financial growth is accelerated much faster. You financial goals much faster. But It's a journey, and everybody's taking their steps. Not every 1-year-old child is walking, but eventually they all walk. Eventually, all things constant. So I think our problem, one of the issues we face is comparison.
Comparison,
that older person has so much at 30.
And trust me, it's a still of joy, because you get so stressed and you
of joy. They don't lie.
It is.
Your journey might start at 50. Someone else's journey might start at 60.
At 60,
and that's fine, because they don't want to enter that hustle life. You must understand what your personality is.
Yeah.
The people who don't want to enter that hustle life, the people who want to spend more time with their family.
Yes.
And the ones who are making money are teasing the ones who want to spend more time with their family. And for you will never be rich. And I've had people tell me to my face that I'll never be rich. Yeah, because I'm a financial literacy expert, but I'm not a wealth expert.
You're not a wealth expert.
I'll never be there and I say, come and I teach you how to
build wealth.
I teach you how to manage
your own expense finances. Yes.
Personal finances. But because me, the life I live, I just monetize my passion and my interests. So if they call me for a gig here, I'll go. If they call me for a speaking engagement here, I'll go. And they pay me good money, I'll go.
You'll go,
have that extra money that I can put aside.
That you can put aside.
But I'm not going to get out of my mind and say, now, Brenda has this other business. Now she told me she makes 100 million. Even
let me also go. Actually, that comparison, and that's like the biggest issue that we have. And but it's not for everyone.
And it's not mandatory. Just because other people are doing it, it doesn't mean that you have to. But if you feel that the people I feel have to are the ones who genuinely say that when I look at my budget and my financial goals, the math is not mathing.
So I need to get extra income. Yes.
If your financial goal is wealth, then you need to get it. But not everybody. And we should all live our own financial journey.
That's true. And you said that earlier. You should have your own personal financial journey.
Financial journey.
What are your thoughts on real estate? Let me first take you there, because I've had a lot of contention around people speaking about.
Who said that it's not a good investment?
She said she said it's good for you to. In her view, the only real estate you should have ideally is like the house that you're living in, right? Because it ties up money and things like that. Do you invest in real estate?
I do, but minimally.
Minimally.
So these are my quick thoughts on real estate. Real estate is great for appreciation of value and for extra income, like rental income.
Rental income, yeah.
The problem with, and let's agree that in the cultural context, real estate, investing in real estate is culturally significant.
It is.
Other people will hear this conversation and say, what, real estate? But in Uganda,
it's even a sign that you've arrived, you've achieved.
But it all depends on, again, financial goals and the economic situation. It has much more cons than pros. So again, back to personality. Whoever says that it's a bad investment or it's not a good investment is talking from their personality.
From their person, yes.
Which is nearer to mine.
To yours.
One, it's low liquidity is very low.
That's true.
That's the biggest one. Liquidity, for those who don't understand, is ability to convert it into cash. And we are comparing with other investments. When you look at investments, you must look at it alongside other options of investments. Business ventures, unit trust, investing in
markets and things like that.
It is very difficult to convert real estate into cash.
So can even take a year.
Even 2 years. People have had money, and every year you see the value reducing because they are looking for buyers. That's one of the bigger problems with you. And people will so you'll find them getting less value
than they should.
Of a few things like that. Then real estate is the most sensitive market condition. Now in Uganda, we are highly vulnerable to shocks. Let me bring for you data again. 90% of Ugandans are living in vulnerability. Economic vulnerability. And yet those same people are the ones who have those rentals and the land. But if anything dire ever happened,
as simple as a medical emergency.
The three emergencies that Ugandans face, the shocks. Medical over family member, not themselves, over family member. Agricultural risks, because 70% of our GDP is agriculture. We depend a lot on agriculture for growth. The third one is theft. So it would be in businesses.
Okay, theft has taken me out.
It's really big, by the way. You'll be shocked by how many people get things stolen. When any of those things happen, okuza kungulu
is actually,
and you have real estate, you can't convert it to cash.
Yes.
So that's where the problem of real estate comes in. That's the cash. So economically, I'm an economist.
Yeah.
Because we are highly vulnerable, we are susceptible to shock as an economy.
Yeah.
You tell me that people, when we were in COVID, the people who had land, where if they got any cash and any money, people were starving.
People were starving, but there's no one to buy. Yeah, because we wasn't buying land. Yes. My life wasn't guaranteed.
Life was not
guaranteed. So what was I doing? Yeah.
So that's two. There's one. So it's economic situation. Uganda, we are highly volatile and susceptible to vulnerable shocks. There's low liquidity. There is management. What people don't include when they're talking about these
rentals and rents,
they don't add in maintenance costs. Maintenance and management costs. They don't.
Yeah.
So for them, all they look at is the appreciation of value and inflation. That as long as it's above inflation, rising prices in the economy, I'm okay. Imagine I bought it at 50 million, I'm selling it at 100. But they are not looking out over this cost.
Legal issues and
legal issues. Because remember, everyone is busy. You leave your land there for 5 minutes, they are squatters. Then you have to fight the
Then someone has taken 2 inches.
Someone has taken. Then they have to now bring money and you open boundaries again. Then you see, where does my plot stop?
And all that is money.
Then the law comes and tells you, those people have squatted for so long, now they are entitled to be paid back, to be paid some money.
Can you imagine? On your land?
Yeah. So that's really where the problem with the real estate, those are just cons. But you will find that there are people who are able to navigate all those cons very easily and very quickly, and that's fine. But for the majority of people, we are not equipped.
No, we are not equipped. We struggle.
So you have to decide who you are and if you can manage those cons. If you can manage those cons, go ahead. If you can't, just do what I advise you to do, is just to add it as part of your diversified portfolio.
Diversification is key.
So that's where diversification is. I'm not against real estate. Actually, I approve of real estate.
But minimally, have it as just a portion of your investment.
If your money mind personality is like and you're not able to be there running after tenants and one. These people, and then Ugandans, you can live in societies where they are civilized people. Ugandan tenants,
they can make you sweat for your money.
And I decided Airbnb for foreigners.
Yes.
I never faced any problem that I hear about Ugandan tenants. Not even one.
Interesting.
You don't even
have to see them. You pay, give a key, and that's it.
They show them where the key is. What is that? Well, I stopped that business because of COVID. I was running an Airbnb for 2 years before COVID.
Okay.
And it was really great. But after COVID, things just
it changed a bit. Yes.
It was supposed to be, so I just stopped it.
Okay. So as we come to the end, I think with me and you can go on and on and on.
Especially at the beginning of this conversation that madam.
But I just have 2 questions for you. One, actually 3, but one I think we've more or less covered. It was about debt, but I think we've talked about debt. But maybe one thing that didn't come out is maybe you can give us 3 tips that if I'm trying to get out of debt and be financially healthy, what are those 3 things that you think I can stick to? Just quickly, then we'll move on to the other last 2. Bad debt, like I'm drowning in debt and I need to get out of it and start being a bit more financially healthy.
Okay. One, quickly, for debt, there are different methods of getting out of debt. There are 2 main ones which I would recommend. The first one being, you start paying off your high interest loans first.
Okay.
Because high interest loans tend to accumulate more interest. Like you keep paying back more. And remember, you're not reaching the principal, the money that you borrowed in time. So you pay back high interest rates. Again, personality type. The second one is what they call the snowball method. The snowball method is where you pay back the very small ones first. Because the very small ones are full loans. If you're paying back an interest loan, let's say maybe you have a loan of like 2 million, and then you might have to pay it over a period of a year. But if you have an informal loan, maybe with Joel somewhere, with Jojo the other side, that loan might be 50,000.
50 years.
So you can decide to pay off the small ones, so that now that one is out of the way. And then in your mind, you see, it's like motivation and a sense of fulfillment. I've paid off that person. Now I don't have to dodge them every time I see them when I'm passing.
Yes.
Those are two. The bigger one, which I recommend, I never recommend for you to get a loan to pay back a loan. But one of the ones I would recommend for high interest loans. And high interest loans, by the way, I wish we had time so I could educate your viewers about those digital apps. Those digital apps that keep coming.
Banange, there are so many, and people are really getting, yes. Yeah.
They're high interest. They're up to 40% of interest, and people are digging into them.
Yes.
So if you've ever got that loan, first of all, actually, maybe I should have started here. List your loans, acknowledge. It's like stages of grief. Trying to pay back in dates, you have to go through the first stage of grief, which is accept and acknowledge that this is the loan I have.
Yeah.
List them down. It's very uncomfortable to see how much you owe.
You owe, yes.
People. Yeah. It's uncomfortable to see because now how am I going to pay this back? Once you've listed and you've acknowledged, then you create a plan and say, I'm either going to do the high interest ones first, or I'm doing the small ones first to get them out of the way. But there's this other method. When you have high interest loans, join a circle. Circles are really good support system.
Yeah.
Join a circle and they give loans at
very low. Yeah, very, very low.
So what you can do is that enter the circle, join a nice circle, keep contribute. Get your lump sum at a point and start paying off the high interest loans.
Yeah.
And then you're going to pay back the circle at friendlier terms.
At friendlier terms.
Cover that chunk, the high interest, or possibly all the high interest.
Yeah.
So for me, I found that's one. If you can get access to cheap loan, but now at this point you have to be really responsible. Until don't go to the circle, then borrow their money, then you eat it.
Then you eat it again.
The problem with people who are indebted, and if they've not taken the time to heal themselves from that disease, the cycle doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So if you reach a point and now I'm done, I'm tired, you guys, I need Pumla, I need to pay back this money. That is the only time you can get a friendlier termed loan to pay back a high loan. Otherwise, never ever do it. And the one thing with debt which we didn't talk about, because now we're talking about people of debt, the one thing with debt which we did not talk about is that whenever you're getting debt, it should be improving your financial position. It should be improving your financial position. It should be putting you in a better place, generating income for you. That's if you're not in debt.
Not for going to Zanzibar.
Unless the loan is 0%.
Yeah.
Unless the loan is 0%. And not for getting married, unless the loan is 0%.
More get a late.
Then the last one I can give you is that is to just avoid it. Avoid borrowing
unnecessarily. Yes, reduce expenditure.
Where we should have started from.
Reduce expenditure. Yeah,
significantly. Just get a year off going out. A year of interacting. Find a close friend and say, this time I can't go, but can you?
House me?
Yeah, but only do it twice in the year.
Don't be like black tax people we spoke about. Yeah. So you mentioned you have a son, right? And I have, my friends call me Mother Abraham. And I recently had a conversation with them about finances. And I don't believe in paying kids to do housework, first of all. I don't, because I was never paid. That's why you said when you were paid, I'm like, you're so lucky. I really don't, because I think kids need to contribute to the house generally, but there are unique things they can do. Like I agreed with my kids that when they clean the dog house, the kennel, it's something that is not part of their chores, but if they do it, I pay them. Okay. So I felt that I was happy with myself. It was the first time I was having a conversation with them about money. So do you have, at what age as parents, because my parents up to today, I don't think have ever spoken to me about money. And so, and yet I feel it's so important. I feel like I made so many mistakes. If they had spoken to me, if someone had spoken to me from a very young age, I would have, been in a better position. So are you doing it? And how would you suggest as a parent we do some of those things?
Are you talking to your children about money?
I started that time. It was I was happy with myself because I was like, okay, I was surprised that they knew they took me on. They could not understand why I was not paying them for chores. I was like, what you teach your children? Yeah, so we negotiated and they pushed back on the amounts and everything. And one, I was shocked that they knew about money, not from me, because I don't give them money.
Okay.
And I was shocked that they had some entitlement and rights. I was quite impressed, right? So what can we do as parents to raise a better and more informed generation on finances?
I asked you if you're teaching your children about money, because I've realized that most of us like to start with that statement, as we were not raised learning anything about money. Yeah. But we are still also not teaching them about money. Yeah. So especially because financial education is not taught in schools, we are doing our parts. I'm part of a team at the Bank of Uganda that goes to high schools to teach them financial literacy. Yeah, but we are too few to go through all the schools and all the children in Uganda. So this responsibility should start from home. Let's start from the really young ones. Young children should be given pocket money. Yeah.
Okay.
That's ideally be given pocket money for things. You can tell them. I'm like you. I don't believe in house chores to a certain age, because I believe chores should be a responsibility for children to be able to learn how to do certain housework. If anything, I'm gifting you with a skill. You should be paying me.
And to be independent as well.
To be independent, you're teaching life skills. I'm teaching you how to clean, to wash, to cook, to get around yourself. So how can I pay you for teaching you a skill? It doesn't make any sense. But from a certain age, let's say from the age like of 6 years old, when children maybe are going out to, we're even going for a party, you should be able to give your child and say, you have, and very little that they cannot use for much. Give your child 1,000 and say, I'm giving you 2,000 shillings for the month.
For the month,
Now, and that at 6, 7, 8 years old, you can't learn planning. You can't learn needs and wants. But what you can do is emulate. Children's behavior is largely influenced by their parents' behavior. Your children are going to mirror you. They will, because you're their first form of contact of education of anything, including finances. So for the young ones, just give them money and then mirror. When you go to the supermarket and your child says they want this, never tell your child that you don't have money. Because there are actually people who don't have money. But for you, you have. So use your words and explain what you don't have money means. That's when you're starting to teach needs and wants. And you say, that's when now you learn budgets. You say, at the beginning of the month, these are the things that we decided were important. Do you want to starve? Remember, you're talking to a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. Do you want not to eat anything? We can't afford KFC. We can't afford, but we can afford this other thing. So these are our priorities. That's how you teach. When you're going shopping, at a certain point, shop with your children.
With the children,
Shop with your children, just to give them an understanding that we are picking that. And when they go, some of you don't want to go shopping with the supermarket with your children because they are indisciplined. You fear that they are going to want to
going to start screaming.
The reason that they are doing that is because you don't expose them.
You don't expose them, that's true.
You don't expose them. And now you're keeping them in the dark. You don't realize that children should be allowed to be children. Don't be ashamed by the public saying that child anger is screaming. What's the matter with a child screaming? If the other person says, you defend your child, defend and you see what will happen. So that will teach them. So with time and at the right age, they're going to stop screaming. They're going to stop demanding things. A child will literally come and ask you, Mom, can we afford this today? So that you stop saying, I don't have money. I don't have with no I pay your school fees. After paying all those school fees, I just pay stop talking to your children like that. Stop telling them about problems which are supposed to be your responsibility. Now they've asked you, guide them, teach them. For the older children, you must pay them for chores because now they've learned. If you have teenagers in your house, I recommend like from the age of 11.
You can start paying.
13, you pay. When you pay them for your chores, it's now when you start to explain to them. These are budgeting, prioritizing needs and wants, planning, saving for the things they want. The most important things. My son wanted to buy a PlayStation, these PlayStation games that boys like. It took us 1.5 years to buy that PlayStation.
Oh, he saved for it?
Of course not. He saved a portion of the money.
A portion, and then
which I had told him, of course he can't afford it.
He can't afford it.
So me, I told him, this is the money that I'm willing to save over 6 months.
Okay,
I can get you this PlayStation. And let me tell you, even if you can afford that thing right now, stop buying things for your children when they demand expensive things.
Yes.
If a child wants something, explain to the child. Now, we have this PlayStation. I believe that you should have it. You've been a good child. And I think it might help you in certain ways.
Yes.
It's a good investment. My problem right now is that I don't have the money for it. But I can save in 6 months to get it. But I can only save this money up to a certain point because that thing is too expensive.
It's too expensive,
But if you really want it, I am giving you have chores that you do, save. You have pocket money, those ones who are in high school especially, you have pocket money. You save. They will never reach the money that they need. But we will reach 6 months and my son came to me and said, Mom, this is now what I have got. The PlayStation was 2.4 million.
They are not cheap,
He had saved 60,000. 6 months had passed. So I told him, pleasure. I'm sorry.
60K, yeah.
60,000 against 2 million. What are you talking about? So I told him, come and explain to me how you used this money that I gave you.
Yeah.
And then he's showing me a Nike shoe, stepper of 80K, a rugby set that he's wearing of sports for 60K. And I asked him, Teja, you told me that your priority was
the game.
So why are you spending a lot of money on these other things that you told me are not really a priority?
Yeah.
That's when it started to click. And I told him, I've reached my money. I have the money that I was telling you about. So
your portion.
I'm waiting for your portion. I'm ready.
So
now it's on you.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Those children have aunties who give them money. They have grandparents who give them money. And I try to explain to him that, Teja, for me, I'll always give you money. Those people, when they give us money, it's not a supplement to me.
Yeah.
Because I can afford you. I plan for you.
Yes.
That money is your extra money. I want to see how you're using that money.
Use it, yes.
You just show me. If you can show me some kind of discipline. Then he started saving. The money grew.
I like that.
The money grew. The money grew. Before we knew it, he had reached. So 6 months came and he still hadn't reached. He needed another 6 months. And I waited. I mean, I'm not giving kids things that. But to be honest, I was going to give him that thing anyway. My limit was 1.5, but I wanted him to learn. I knew that if I do it the right way, he will understand.
The lesson,
and I realized that every 6 months he became a better saver. Then I showed him unit trust. But because he's underage, I show him, Teja, when you give me that money, don't put it in a box somewhere. That money can compound interest. I said, look, because these unit trusts have applications.
They have apps,
And you can track how your savings are growing, how your investment is growing. So I started to put him on my plan. And I said, Teja, I've put for you a plan. It is called, it has his name. Every time he comes back, even when I go to see him at school now, he asks me, show me my money. Show me my money. And he sees that it's growing. And also, remember, our parents used to use our money.
They used to all that time.
So I'm telling him, Teja, this is your money. It's not my money. These people don't give me money to support me. They give you money.
They give you money, yes.
So you see, Auntie Shatra gave you 30,000. It is here. Auntie Lukuse gave you 10K. It is here. I have loaded. These are all the deposits. But see how your 30,000, 40, 50, how it's growing. How it's compounding. So when they see that money growing, they get excited. The third one for children is encourage them to pick up work, not chores.
Work.
Encourage them to pick up work. You see, Brenda is here. She has a teenage son. Rakoba, he's doing exams. When that boy gets to S1, he should be behind the camera.
He needs to be supporting Agre.
Agre needs to get him to learn how to do work. My son, me now, I do content. He's the one who takes my videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
When he's on holiday, and I pay him. Because most of these influencers, they are paying me.
Yes.
So how can the person who is doing my content creation,
not get
production, not getting paid? Now they're starting to learn editing. I'm showing him the different apps. How we can edit, cut videos, do this. Let them do work. And you see, for me, I'm doing this at this level. There are people, you have shops, you have businesses. Your children don't even have a clue. Then when they finish graduating, you want to force them to come.
That's when the business fails.
Then the business will fail. Yeah. So if you have anything that is, any little thing, you can even get an uncle and you can tell them, you do it for me, I'll be the one to pay you. Yes. Yeah. So that you can teach them. Now that you have some little money, come and we sit down together and we see, how are you doing your budget? Yeah. What are you spending on? What are your goals? What would you like to achieve? Yes. You know, I even almost wanted him to start contributing for his university. Then I remembered that education is a right. It's not a privilege.
It's not a privilege.
So he survived me on that one.
My second son is, you know, children have different personalities. Yeah. My second son is There's a weekend I didn't pay them for washing the
kennel.
I did not breathe for like 3 days. I told him, I even showed him my mobile money balance. I'm like, the money is here. But it's just that every time I leave work, I'm so tired, I forget to stop by a mobile money place. It's here every morning. And he has a color voice, Mama, did you get the money? I'm like, now you're going to be a problem. But I was happy. I'm like, yeah, he knows his money.
But teaching children, the greatest gift you can do for the next generation to come is to empower children today on financial literacy.
I like that. I like that. And it's something, if you're a parent out there, you really, really need to get onto that. Those 3 tips, very, very good tips. So as we conclude,
we concluded for 3
for 3 minutes. But now the last one, the really, really last one. Your best and worst financial decision, the one that you look at and say, but I was a fool, or I didn't think through it, and
I wanted to go the other way, but the truth is, lending my boyfriend money was the worst financial decision.
The love was killing you.
Love was killing me, yet for him, he was not reciprocating.
He was not reciprocating,
I think the worst financial decision I ever made, you guys, that is to lend my boyfriend money.
And did they pay back?
They did not. I didn't do a bad financial decision if they are paid. And I'm not saying don't lend your people money. I'm just saying it's a bad decision.
It's a bad decision. Was there interest, or it was this 0%?
You guys, I just started working.
And
I had no plan. You see, there's nothing wrong with lending your people money, but that was the time I was young. I had started working. I was excited about money. I didn't know how to plan. I didn't have anything. The boy came. He was taking me. I gave him 100,000.
It was 100K. It can pay. At those days, it was a lot of money.
That was 20 years ago, by the way. I'll never do it again.
And the best decision?
Now when you come, we cry together. We cry.
You don't have a Bambi.
What are we going to do?
How will we make our way?
Bambi. But that is like when I remember specifically. But that was financial decision to be on a serious note is not starting to save as early as you should. Because I didn't understand the power of compounding interest. The best decision I ever made was to start investing, honestly, in unit trusts. And investing in unit trusts just helped me build confidence in me. That I could actually grow my money. I could have a safety net. I wasn't walking around aimlessly. It also allowed me now to start diversifying. Because remember, I'm risk averse. I needed to accumulate a certain amount of money that I was safe with for me to start investing in riskier investments. So I was able to diversify my portfolio. And through that, I have really watched seen, felt, and understood what growth of money is, aside from just managing it.
I like that. Oh, we could go on and on. I hope you guys have really learned. Remember, for you to be able to even build a business, it starts with you building and managing your finances. Because how are you going to manage finances in a business if your personal finances are not aligned? Like, it starts with what you do. Let's teach our children. And please remember to watch, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, Pumla. This has been a very wholesome discussion. I was attacked so many times. Sometimes some things you said and I'd be like, I'll not say, but but I have taken real lessons from this conversation, and I'm hoping that after this we'll have, we'll be taking a different path. So thank you so much. So till the next episode, let's rise and thrive together.